it going? So, yeah, Evan told me you were coming, so I let you in right away. So thank you for doing this with us today. So, well, yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Hi, Maya. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I'll open up the doors, so to speak, at 3, I think.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good.
This is actually one of my students in my transfer seminar this semester.
Oh.
Waiting, so that's good.
Always exciting.
Yeah. I actually didn't even put it out to them. I just put it out through the general Canvas page. Okay. So, well, this might be a lighter turnout. But
Yeah. I think that would make sense for the week we're all having. So.
I know. I work at my polling place. I'm a
Oh yeah.
committee person, so I can understand. Yeah. So, all right, 5. That's good. So.
Just say, I know I've had a couple of conversations this week with first-year students that were like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Oh, come to our workshop on Thursday."
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you think we'll have, in addition, I know that today is supposed to be math, computer science, and physics. You think we'll have some others
possible.
too?
I had a few of the bio and chem students say they were interested. So I am recording this one. So just to have, we can send it to someone who is maybe interested.
Okay.
We'd prefer to have them do the live session with you guys, but if for whatever reason, we'll have this. All right, so I'm going to admit everyone in. So
great.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Foundations of Study Abroad workshop. I'm Diana McFadden. I'm one of the advisors in the College of Science and Technology. I have my colleague Keith Schweiger here. So hi, Keith. And we have
everybody
from our Study Abroad office. I will let them take it away and run the show. So Evan, please go ahead.
Thanks everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. I know that I'm sure you're all very busy and your minds may be elsewhere, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and maybe getting a nice little distraction talking about traveling. But yeah, so my name is Evan. I'm a coordinator in the Study Abroad office. I'm going to talk to you today about all the different program offerings we have and where you can go as a CST student. I am also joined today by two ambassadors who are in the College of Science and Technology who studied abroad. So I'll let them introduce themselves. We have Maya and Adiba. So Maya, do you want to introduce yourself, your major, your year, and where you studied abroad?
Sure. So my name is Maya Rahman. I'm a biology major in the 4+1 biotech program, and I have a minor in clinical psych. I'm a senior, and I studied abroad in Rome in the summer of 2018.
Great, thanks. And Adiba?
Hi guys, I'm Adiba. Currently a junior studying chemistry and economics. I studied abroad last summer or 2 summers ago, in Seoul, South Korea.
Cool, thanks. So they will talk a little bit more about why they chose their programs as we get to those program options in the presentation. Let me just share my screen and get started. Okay, can everyone see that? Awesome. Okay, so this is Foundations of Study Abroad. This is the required session for all students planning to study abroad. So you can check that off of your list of things to do today for the process. So yeah, my name's Evan. Like I said, I studied abroad in Buenos Aires, Argentina as a junior when I was getting my bachelor's degree. And then after graduating, I went to Madrid to teach English for 2 years. So I was learning Spanish. I studied Spanish too. So that's why I chose those 2 locations. So if you're interested in going to a Spanish speaking country, I'm happy to talk to you about that. But of course, here to answer all your questions today too. Okay, so today you'll learn how to consider your program needs. So what you need in your program to achieve all of the goals that you're looking to achieve, how to find a program on our website and start an application, how to determine cost and finance options, and you'll learn about the conversation that you should have with your academic advisor before committing to study abroad, because that's super important. Okay, types of goals you should consider along the way. So you have your academic, so what you hope to accomplish in terms of your major and your degree. Personal goals too. So this could be the first time that you're traveling abroad or living alone. So you want to gain some independence, some confidence, maybe some of those soft skills. And then you have professional skills or professional goals as well. So any study abroad student should put study abroad on their resume. I think it's a great way to stick out to future employers. And also you have the potential to do research abroad and intern abroad as well. So you can get some professional development too. So really important, you can answer this question: how can you tie your study abroad program into all of these goals? You'll want to consider your preferences when choosing a program as well. So things like your curriculum. So what courses will you take? Will they be major courses, satisfying requirements for your minor? Will they be gen eds, electives, all of that good stuff? A region or country of interest. Sometimes students will choose a study abroad program because they are fascinated with the region that it's taking place in, and that's totally fine as long as it makes sense for your major. So something to consider there. And then you have language. So whether you are, just getting started in learning a language, you want to take like an intro course, or if you are further along, you're minoring in a language or want a certificate, maybe you choose a program based on that as well. Let me have finances. Some programs will cost more than others. And then length of program. So will you study abroad for a summer, a semester, academic year, or maybe you'll go more than once? Other things like non-academic considerations when choosing a program, these are very important. Things like your physical or mental health, gender, identity, sexuality, how you express yourself, any disabilities that you may have. These personal circumstances are super important. They make up who you are as a person. We need you to think about these things ahead of time. And we have resources available on our website, which I'll show you how to find in a second. But if you ever need help with the things you see on the screen, you have concerns about other things as well, please reach out to our office. We would be happy to set up an appointment for you to talk with someone, either in our office or another office at Temple as well. But we have these resources available on our website. So if you go to studyabroad.temple.edu and then prepare to go and then down to web resources, it'll bring you here and you can filter resources by category. And then when you click apply, it will tell you which programs are associated with those resources. And then also sometimes it's all of the programs because these are offices from organizations like all throughout the United States that specialize in specific resources for students who are studying abroad. So definitely look into these. Even if nothing's popping up in your mind right now, you may discover something by looking through these resources. Okay, so I'm going to go over all the different opportunities you have to study abroad through Temple, starting with our 3 overseas campus programs, which you may be most familiar with. So the first one we'll talk about is Rome, where Maya studied abroad. So this is our most popular study abroad program at Temple. It can host about 300 students in the spring. We usually reach that max in the fall, about 175 to 200. And the summer is very popular as well. This campus offers courses in 7 different academic areas, including STEM. There are biology and math courses offered primarily in the fall. But there is every gen ed you can think of as well offered at Temple Rome too. So this campus is only study abroad students. So you're taking classes with other Temple students and also students from other US universities around the US. And there are internship opportunities as well. You would live with either in a residence hall organized by us or homestay, or you could also do independent housing. And it's a really beautiful campus, well located in the city, really well connected as well to other parts of the city. And Maya, would you be able to speak to why you chose the Temple Rome program and specifically why you decided to study abroad for a summer?
Yeah, sure. So I decided Rome because actually I was a psych major and someone in my first year class had told me about studying. I thought that was like a good idea. I was like, oh, Rome seems really nice. And I chose a summer because I had gone to a pre-professional health meeting, and the first thing I remember when I came to Temple was they said, choose a summer, it'll make it easier and it'll like make your life easier. So that was my thought process to like make my life easier, make sure I got my courses. And I like the course offerings also because I wanted to take an art history course, and what better place to take it and go see all the actual artwork.
Thanks. Yeah, great point. Study abroad is a great opportunity for you to take a course that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to take, or to take a course like art history actually in the location where you'd be like, you're learning about that stuff in class, and then you can go out on field trips and day excursions throughout the city and learn about that content in real life. So that's great. Thanks. So the next deadline we have coming up for Temple Rome is actually the summer program. So February 15th. 6-week program in summer session 1. And then after that, the next deadline would be April 1st for the fall term, and then October 1st for the spring. Next, we have Temple Japan. Temple Japan is a fully degree granting institution in Tokyo. So they offer 10 majors. So there are a lot of different course offerings there as well. The deadlines are the same as Temple Rome. That I just mentioned. So the next one being February 15th for their 10-week summer program. And they also offer every gen ed. The housing is also similar, where you could do a residence hall, you could do a homestay or independent housing as well. And there is a very extensive internship program there too. We partner with over 100 companies now, which is really impressive. I should have said this about Temple Rome before, but you can take all of your courses in English aside from, if you want to take a Japanese language course at Temple Japan. However, for Temple Rome, if you go over the semester, so for the fall or spring, you do have to take Italian 1001 if you haven't taken any Italian before. But at Temple Japan, you do not need to take any language course, whether or not you've studied Japanese before. Next, we have the Oviedo program. We have an affiliated campus with the University of Oviedo. This is in the northwest region of Spain in Asturias. So as you can see here, it's pretty green and mountainous, which is pretty similar to, I guess, what we're used to in the northeastern US. Unlike the rest of Spain, which is like pretty dry and hot. So it's, I think it's like a very nice kind of getaway here in Oviedo. But this program is for students who are majoring or minoring in Spanish or getting a certificate. All of your courses are taught in Spanish, and there are prerequisites of Spanish before you can go on this program. So you need 4 semesters to go for the spring, and then you need 2 semesters to go over the summer. And it's only offered those 2 terms, so it's not offered in the fall. The next deadline being the same as Rome and Japan, February 15th for the summer, and then after that, October 1st for the following spring. So all students live in a homestay on this program because it's all about language immersion, and you are speaking Spanish every part of the day. So in the classroom, out of the classroom, at home. Yeah. Okay. Next, we have exchange programs. So these are partnerships that we have with universities in all the countries you see listed here. Typically, they're a 1-for-1 exchange. So we send a student to one of these universities, and then one of the students comes here to Temple to study. A lot of these institutions are very highly renowned, like throughout the world, and many of them offer courses in STEM. And so off the top of my head, I can say that Hong Kong Baptist University offers courses in, I believe, all math, physics, and computer science. And then several universities in Korea as well offer courses taught in English in those fields too. So I know that CST students have been successful studying abroad for a semester at these universities and getting credit in their major.
So we've also had a couple students in Australia at Griffiths. So,
yeah, thanks. Yeah, lots of options at these institutions. And I'd say a key difference with the exchange programs is that students going on these may be a little bit more independent. You could be the only Temple student at the university for that term. So I wouldn't say you're on your own, but you have a lot more freedom. You have a lot more courses to choose from. You get to decide, your living situation. And you can join like organizations at the universities as well. So the deadlines for exchange programs are, you can do some of these over the summer. And I know that Hamburg in Germany offers some CST courses over the summer taught in English. But typically students will do exchange programs in the fall and spring, the fall deadline being March 1st, and then the spring deadline being September 1st. So next we have summer programs. These are our summer faculty-led programs. And you can see here they're separated out by subject area because the locations can vary from year to year because they're led by Temple faculty, and their status kind of depends on whether the faculty are able to run them or not. But we have language immersion programs, history and culture, science, and so forth. So we, Adiba here did a global good program in Korea 2 summers ago. So that would be the intellectual heritage programs, and those change in location every year. So Adiba, do you want to talk a little bit about why you chose to do that program and why you chose Korea?
Yeah, so the reason why I chose IH was because like obviously it's a gen ed, so I was like I need it anyway. And then I also need my global world gen ed, so it was kind of like 2 birds, 1 stone. I chose this summer specifically because I kind of wanted to do TUJ Japan for a semester, and I kind of wanted to go to like that part of the world for maybe a month or 2 just to see like how I enjoyed it before I committed to a whole semester. And the reason why I specifically chose Korea was because it was like one of the places that like I didn't really see myself going to in the future or like ever getting the chance to. I knew I have like some family in Rome, so I was like I'll probably go there at some point. And then I've studied Spanish for a long time in high school, so I was like I'll probably visit Spain at some point too, but I just didn't think I'd go to Korea. So I kind of just like pushed myself to choose something out of my comfort zone. But I loved it, and I probably want to go to Japan sometime in the future because of that 1 summer program that I did. But yeah, like I hope students like choose places that like they wouldn't really see themselves going to later on, because like I don't really know when else I would have ever gotten the opportunity to choose Korea. So that's why I chose Korea.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much. And you bring up a really good point about getting your World Society Gen Ed waived by studying abroad. So Adiba was able to, and Maya as well, by studying abroad, you get credit for the courses that you take and pass, but also you get your World Society Gen Ed waived by studying abroad and getting a C- or better in all of your courses. So that is kind of like, you said, two birds, one stone. It's a great way of putting it. So yeah, so summer programs, faculty led, their deadlines are also February 15th. Next, we have school college programs. CST doesn't offer their own, so I'm just gonna skip over this. Okay, next we have external programs around the world. So these are programs run through study abroad organizations and other universities that offer study abroad programs that Temple students can go on and receive transfer credit for. As you can see, they are located in many different countries and all regions of the world, and they vary in structure and timeline and in language offered and subjects that they offer as well. But there are several programs that offer courses in science and technology. Many times, if a CST student does an external program, they could choose the summer. Like Maya and Adiba, it can fit into their schedule a little bit better. But I know that specifically the Education Abroad Network offers programs that CST students have done before. So these are just kind of like third-party providers that have study abroad programs that Temple students can go on. The main difference is that you're getting transfer credit. Okay. So if you would like to see the guide for students in the College of Science and Technology, you can scan this QR code. It will bring you to a guide on our website, which shows you which programs have courses in your major. So it's a really helpful starting point for your research. It will tell you, which exchange university in Korea offers courses in math or physics, and which ones offer courses in environmental science. So definitely look at this guide and then use that to inform your research that you do on our website as well. Okay, so eligibility. You can see the varying GPA requirements on the screen right now, so take note of those. I'll just say that the 3.0 for internships is only applicable to Temple Rome, not to Temple Japan. And then some other requirements, you need 2 semesters of college level study before you can go abroad. The first term you can go abroad is the summer after your freshman year. And that works out if you are a freshman, then the next deadline is for the summer. And if you're a transfer student, you need to spend 1 at Temple before you can study abroad. And you have to be in good academic and disciplinary standing. Okay. So to find a program on our website, if you go to the home page, you have all these tabs across the home screen. If we go to explore programs, you can now see all of the different types of programs here. So if we're looking for a Temple program, let's say specifically Temple in Spain, we'll just go to explore programs and then click on that option. And then it asks us which term we're applying for. So it'll ask you this question for Rome, Spain, and Japan. So let's click on the spring semester. And then this is what the program page looks like for Temple programs. We have all the important information on this screen. So we'd be able to scroll through and look at the courses offered, the dates, costs, scholarships, even the faculty and staff who work on this program too. And you can also find student profiles. You can reach out to return students as well. So this is your go-to page. You should become very familiar with this page as well. And then when you are ready to apply to this program, you'll click on that red Apply Now button at the bottom of the screen. But before I show you what an application portal will look like, I want to review the external programs process because it's a little bit different from the process for Temple programs, like the Overseas Campus Program, Summer and Exchange. They all look like this, but the external programs process is just a little bit different. So when looking for an external program, you would still access them going to explore programs and then down all the way to the bottom, external programs around the world. And then here we have an explanation for what they are. Because you are receiving transfer credit and you have to go through a course evaluation process before going, we just want to explain that a little bit further to avoid any confusion. But you have a couple options here for links to click on. I suggest you first look through the featured semester programs. That's why that button is much bigger. Those are programs that other Temple students have done in the past that we're a little bit more familiar with. So you can click on that and then look through the featured programs, or you can actually click on the link above that and it will show you all of the different organizations that we partner with, because you are eligible to study abroad through any of those organizations. But if we were to click on the featured link, brings us to this program discoveries tool where we can search by country, area of study, or term. So let's say I'm really interested in going to Ecuador. So I put that in the search box and then it spits out the featured programs that match my search. So SIT and IES, those first two that come up, those are acronyms for the organizations. They stand for something related to international education or study abroad. So let's say that we are really interested in, we're a political science major. So we click on that first program link through SIT. And this is the program page. So it has similar information to our website. So information about courses and language and housing options and terms offered. And then we can see we can apply now through this page. So this will open your request to study abroad through our office. And then open up your portal through us. However, for external programs, you have to apply to us and to the organization itself. So you have two applications technically. So you get approval through our office and then you apply through their website. You can have the applications open at the same time, but we recommend that you submit your application to our office first before you submit to theirs. So to access the application through their website, you would click on that click to visit link next to homepage and find it that way. So if we click on the apply now button, or if we click on that red apply now button from that Spain page before from our website, it'll ask you to sign in to your portal. So you click on, I have an AccessNet username and password, and then you sign in using your Temple credentials. And then this opens up your study abroad portal. So I'm sure this looks very familiar to Maya and Adiba who have done this before, but this is your portal and it's pretty straightforward. You have a bunch of blank checkboxes and you need to complete the things to the left of them, highlighted in red. So you click through those things. Some of them you just read and sign. Some of them you mark as read. Other things you have to fill in. So under forms is where you're going to be inputting information. From your eligibility requirements to emergency contact information, and then your actual study abroad application, where you will write two very short essays, one saying why you chose this program, and two saying, kind of why you want to study abroad and for this specific term. So it's a fairly quick application, including that the actual application where you fill in, your essay responses. The piece of the application that can hold students up the most that we see is the recommendation requirement at the bottom. So you need an academic advisor recommendation to study abroad. You do not need a professor or faculty recommendation, just the academic advisor. So what you do is you click on that red link at the bottom that says request electronic recommendation, and then you put in your advisor's info. So just their name, their email, their title, and then the courses that you plan on taking. You click submit, and the box will not be checked off yet. First, it has to get sent to your advisor, who then approves it. So they read through it, and then they either make comments and approve or deny it. So once they approve it and click submit, then the box will be checked off. Once the box is checked off, all of them are finished. A submit button will appear on this page, and then you can submit your application by the deadline. Okay. Anyone have any questions before I move on to affording study abroad? You can put them in the chat or unmute yourself. We will also have time at the end for questions as well. Okay. So the first step to answering that question about how you can afford studying abroad is to understand the tuition rates. So For Temple programs, you are charged your Temple tuition. So whether you go to an overseas campus for a semester or summer, or do a faculty-led summer program or an exchange program, you're charged your homeschool tuition. The only exception is that if you go to Temple Japan, you're paying the base rate tuition at Temple, which is the same as the College of Liberal Arts. So because that is the base rate, it's cheaper than all the others. So as a CST student, if you go to Temple Japan, that term will, you'll be paying less in tuition for that term. For external programs, you pay your tuition and fees directly to the provider, so you won't see anything on TUPay for that term. So financial aid can apply to your study abroad. And generally for semester programs, all of your federal and state aid, as well as scholarships, can apply to study abroad. For summer programs, it's not as widely available. However, there are still a lot of scholarship opportunities as well. And then we always recommend that you consult with Student Financial Services before committing to study abroad, before making any financial commitments, just so that you are totally informed about how your aid can be applied. And if you are in the honors program, you can apply your merit stipend to study abroad. To find cost sheets for Temple programs, that is, you go to the program page. So this is the Prague Global Good program. So Adiba did this program, but in Korea. We were supposed to offer it in Prague this past summer, although it was canceled, but this is what the page looked like for the Global Good program for IH2 credit. So from this page, we can click on the costs button on the right-hand side. And then it lists out all of the cost sheets for the summer programs. So we are looking for that top one, click there, and then it opens up a PDF. So these are the first half of this cost sheet, the top half, are the billable costs. So things that show up on TUPay, things that you should expect to pay along the same timeline that you would have if you were on main campus. So that first bit under tuition is an explanation for the tuition that you should expect to pay. It says you're charged your homeschool tuition, and because this is a summer program, you are billed at the part-time rate per credit. And then it links out to the Bursar office website so you can calculate your tuition, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Next, we have non-Temple student costs, which you should ignore. And then under that, we have the Prague fee. So every program has their own fee. Depending on the structure of the program, that could be anywhere from like $150 to, as in this case, $3,000. So it depends what it's covering. For this summer program, it covers housing, which is the primary reason why it's so high. So we have housing, there's also guided tours included, excursions, meals, lots of stuff. So you want to be really familiar with what's included in your fee. And then you have a university services fee as well, just as you would if you were on main campus. But let's click on that blue Bursar office website link to calculate your tuition for the summer. So here we fill in some information about ourselves. So you would select either if you're a PA resident or if you're out of state, and then CST, but this example is Fox, and then part-time for this specific summer program, and then we're receiving 3 credits. Then you click calculate and it'll tell you exactly what tuition you should expect to pay for that term. In this case, the tuition would be $2,577. So that's what you would expect to see on TUPay for your tuition. You would not pay that $163 university service fee because, as we saw before, you're paying the $102. So if you wanted to get an estimate for what you would expect to pay for that summer term, you'd add that $2,577 to the Prague fee of $2,695 plus that $102. And that's what you should expect to see on TUPay. The second half of the cost sheet would be your non-billables. So these are estimates for things that you should expect to pay out of pocket. We don't do group flights at Temple, so that is totally, you're on your own for that, or you might be able to get scholarship money to cover it as well, but that's paid out of pocket. Meals that aren't included in the program, personal expenses, which includes shopping, weekend traveling, and stuff like that. And cell phones. So all Temple students are required to have a working cell phone, so a phone that can make and receive calls as well. Understand what drives costs. So we have First thing, currency rates. So you want to understand how the US dollar stacks up against the local currency of the country that you're studying in. General cost of living. The more expensive countries tend to be in Western Europe and Oceania. So those non-traditional destinations like South America, Africa, and Asia may have a lower cost of living. Urban areas tend to be more expensive than rural areas, and bigger cities tend to be more expensive than smaller cities as well. We like to give the example of Paris being a more expensive city to live in than Lyon, France, which is still a big city, but smaller and caters more to college students. And then type of organization or institution you attend can also drive cost. This applies to external programs. So there are some that will be much more expensive just because of they happen to be universities that charge out-of-state tuition, a public institution just like Temple. So for example, Temple students can go on Boston University programs. So if you go on one of those programs, you're not a Massachusetts resident, they will charge you their out-of-state tuition for that term. So it could potentially be much more expensive than what you would pay at Temple. Not to say you shouldn't go on them, they're excellent programs, they just will be more expensive. And then program quality. So also for external programs, they can vary in cost just generally, regardless of whether they're out of state or in-state tuition. And that can depend on what services they provide. So you could find a very cheap external program, but maybe they're only really charging you the cost of tuition and they don't include the field trips up front. So it could be really cheap, you know, up front, but then later on you're paying more out of pocket for field trips and stuff like that. On the other hand, you could find a pricier external program, but it includes a lot of those services up front. So they embed the field trips and events and meals and all that other stuff into the program cost. So that's why it's a bit pricier. So you just want to, you know, kind of balance that out when you're choosing a program. So cost sheets are available for Temple programs on our website, and the costs for external programs are available on their websites. And studying abroad for a semester replaces one that you would be taking on campus. So it could be more cost effective for you than studying abroad over the summer. Just something to keep in mind. However, we do recognize that many students, if they do study abroad, it has to be over the summer in some cases. Okay, types of scholarships that you can apply for. We have the Education Abroad scholarships, which are offered through us, through our office, and you are prompted to apply for these within your study abroad application. And they are also due at the same deadline that the application itself is due for the program. And we make these decisions based on both merit and need. So some students think, oh, I'm not going to get that scholarship, but you never know, and you should definitely apply. It is a short essay, the application, and you're just choosing from 3 prompts, and it goes through 2 members of the staff review each essay. So it's pretty competitive, but we're looking at more than just need. We're looking at merit as well. External program scholarships are very similar to ours. However, they're offered directly through external programs. And then there are outside scholarships too. There are several scholarships through language societies and other nonprofit organizations that are, you know, promoting globalization. So we really recommend that you do some research on your own, where if you really were to just go to Google and look up study abroad scholarships for students studying chemistry in China, for example, you may be able to find a scholarship specifically for a student just like you. We do have a lot of scholarships listed on our website. So if you go to the finances tab and then down to scholarships, you can filter here by your program, and then it will tell you which scholarships that we're familiar with that you're eligible for and the deadlines associated with them. So there are a lot of great scholarships listed on our website. However, it's not all of them. It's just the ones that a lot of Temple students have received in the past. So we're really familiar with them, and we encourage you to apply for them. So when you are applying to scholarships, you want to take note of the requirements. They can get very specific according to each student. So you just want to make sure that you're actually eligible for them. And that when you're writing your essay, that you can appeal to the mission of the organization. I think that's important for, so the review board can, pick you out as someone who's like, paying attention to the requirements. Consider the length of study. There tend to be more opportunities open to students who study abroad for a longer period of time. So for the semester and academic year, but there are still a lot of scholarship opportunities open to summer study abroad students. Non-traditional destinations outside of Western Europe and Oceania tend to have more scholarship opportunities, but also they are a little bit less competitive because the majority of study abroad students choose programs in Western Europe and Oceania. And then think about your goals. So for every scholarship application, you're going to be writing an essay, and that essay is probably going to be about what you hope to get out of your study abroad experience. So you want to make sure that you can articulate your goals really well in a paper, that you can tie in your study abroad experience into those goals. Yeah. Okay, Temple students receive a lot of money in scholarships. As you can see here, these are pretty impressive ratios, I think. You can get anywhere between $500 and $4,000 from our office in scholarship money per semester, per term. And then you can see that 40 students were awarded over $117,000 in scholarships by outside organizations. So those ones that you find by doing your own research that are not offered through our office. And these numbers are from the 2018-2019 academic year. Before I move on, Maya and or Deepa, either one of you, do you want to speak to maybe some techniques for saving money before going abroad, spending while you are abroad, anything you noticed while you were there about where your money was going, perhaps?
I'll go first. I think it can be really easy for people when they first study abroad to like not realize how much money they're spending on food, for example. So I think it's really important to track what you use, because then once you see it's there, then you know like what you won't do in the future, for example. And I like stuck to a really strict budget with myself, and I told myself like I'm gonna hang out with my friends, I'm going to do these things, but I'm not gonna go crazy with it. So I think that was good. And then for scholarships, like if you have like, I'm sure like when you apply to Temple too, there's like keywords like they're looking for. So like if you know those like mission statements, like Evan said, it'll help you.
Thanks.
Yeah, kind of going off of what Maya said, I didn't do this personally, but I know some of my friends actually like kept a spreadsheet kind of. They made it before they went with like all like the scholarship money they had, money saved up, and like they kind of knew beforehand like this is how much I have, like I can't spend more than this. And a lot of them actually like ended up having like a lot of money like left over like the last week or so. So then like they kind of just like spent whatever then. But in the beginning, it's better to just kind of like, I guess, plan out like where your money goes. And I know like in Korea, like we had to basically like they had different machines and we had to use our cards to get cash back. And I only took out as much cash as I like limited myself to spend, if that makes sense. So like I didn't take out more than like what I need. So like later on, like I would know like this is how much cash I have left. Like I can't spend more than this. So I think using cash is easier than using card, because then you're just kind of like spending it like all the time, instead of like physically having it in your hand. It like helps limit yourself. But yeah, I think like planning out in the beginning is really helpful, because then towards the end you're not really like worrying about how much you have left or anything.
Yeah, great points, both of you. Thank you so much. I think it's really common for students when they first get to their study abroad location that they're really excited. And of course they are, I would be too. And then you spend all your money. So you're like, I want to try this and that. I want to go this place and that place. So, just taking it one day at a time, setting up a budget for yourself. Yeah, making a spreadsheet if that's, how you operate. I did something similar as well when I studied abroad. But yeah, great, thanks. Okay, next steps. So you're going to meet with your academic advisor, and I'll go over some talking points in the next slide. And then use that school college program options handout that you scanned the QR code for earlier. attend other info sessions. So we offer sessions aside from foundations about Temple Rome, Japan, Spain, certain scholarships as well, and some of the exchange programs that we talked about too. Begin your application on our website and then speak with alumni and student ambassadors. So just like Maya and Adiba, we have ambassadors for a lot of different programs that Temple offers or partners with, who are more than willing to speak with you about their experiences and answer any questions that you have about choosing a program. Maybe they are in the same major as you, so you can ask them why they chose the program that they went on, or what was it like to live in Rome, or what was it like to live in Korea. So yeah, and you can find all that information on our website. Or if you're ever looking specifically for a student, but you don't know where to start, you can reach out to us by email, and then we can set you up to email with them. So when you meet with your academic advisor, you want to come up with your semester by semester plan, go over which requirements should be taken on main campus or abroad. So maybe you even have to double up on some major courses ahead of time to set yourself up for a more lax semester abroad where you're taking more gen eds as opposed to your major courses. And then other courses to take abroad. So like I said before, like how Maya took art history in Rome, this is a great opportunity for you to take a course abroad that's related to the culture of the culture that you're living in, because you may not be able to get that experience again. Policies to be aware of. So specifically for transfer students, can't graduate with more than half of your credits being transfer credits. And on the exchange and external programs, you do receive transfer credit back to Temple. So that's something to be aware of. And then the best time to study abroad. So whether you go the summer after your freshman year, or if you go, your second semester junior year, you'll be able to come up with that with your academic advisor. Apply for a passport. I suggest if you don't have one, or if your passport is expired, you get it now as soon as you can. I think it's really important to have one. So you can do that by going to travel.state.gov. And many programs do require their passports early. So although you may not be leaving for your summer program until May, you could need your passport information by March to give us. And a lot of programs do require visas as well. So you don't, in most cases, you need your passport months before you actually leave for your program. So if you need any help applying for one, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to point you in the right direction. And then we do offer a passport scholarship. And this is for any freshmen or first year transfer students who have never had a passport before. All you have to do is apply for your passport as you normally would, and then you submit your receipts to us. So there's an online form. You just upload your receipts and indicate when you attended foundations, the session, because that's required for it, and some other information about yourself. And then once we process that, the scholarship appears on TUPay. It's $145 for the cost of a scholarship, and that will just go right back into your bank account. So that's really a great opportunity for you to get that covered if you've never had a passport before. And for this semester alone, we're also offering that to sophomore and second year students. So just for this semester, but for the freshman and first year, you have until the end of next semester. Key takeaways from today: choose a program that fits your goals and needs. Use the resources on our website. So whether that's those resources we talked about in the beginning pertaining to your identity, or the financial resources, or student ambassador emails, I highly encourage you to look through those. Apply for scholarships and apply for them early. Many times their deadlines are before ours. Speak with your academic advisor and reach out to us. So you can reach out to us by email, phone. We have our virtual front desk, which is operating Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 2. And then we can also set you up with an appointment with an advisor here in our office as well.
So yeah, just to add, we want to see you in CST advising, and we are trying to build plans for you and show you where and when you can study abroad, when would be best. So we absolutely want to support you with whatever your plan might be. So come and talk to us.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions for me, for Maya, for Adiba, for your advisors, we're here.
I'm just wondering, like, what's the difference between like transfer credits and like normal credits? Like, why, or like, is there a difference?
Well, so if you go abroad on a Temple program, you're receiving, the same Temple credit. So if you go to Temple Rome, Japan, or Spain, or one of the faculty-led summer programs, you're taking the same Temple courses, just in a different location. If you go on an exchange or external program, you can take very similar courses, but they're not technically the Temple courses. So you're just like receiving credit for that like level course. I don't know, Diana, if you can explain it
Yeah,
better.
it's really only something to be concerned of if you are a transfer student with more than 60 credits in transfer. So if that isn't you, and Jason, you're in my class, so we could talk about this. I'm certainly happy to meet with you. But yeah, I think for most students, it's not going to be a big deal if you wanted to go to like South Korea on an exchange and get transfer credits, assuming most of your credits are a Temple credit. Rome and Japan, you're going to be taking basically the same courses you would be if you were on main campus or Ambler. They're just going to be in Japan, Rome, or Spain.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Anyone else? The three of us put our emails in the chat, so you can save those if you want.
Yeah. All right. So I guess thank you all for coming today. Thank you to Amaya, Adiba, and Evan for speaking with us today, okay? And again, please let us know or any of the folks here answer any questions, all right?
Great.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Bye, everyone.
everybody.